Milne poem is the next poem, called James James Morrison Weatherby George Dupree, and hopefully goes something like this. James James Morrison Weatherby George Dupree took great care of his mother, though he was only 3. Now, I need to stop a minute because, and you can keep this on there, because my daughter had her first child and named him James and said, Dad, you got to learn this poem. So that's why I do this poem. James James Morrison Weatherby George Dupree took great care of his mother, though he was only 3. James James said to his mother, Mother, he said he, you must never go down to the end of town. If you don't, go down with me. Well, James James Morrison's mother put on a golden gown. James James Morrison's mother drove to the end of town. James James Morrison's mother said to herself, said she, I can get right down to the end of town and be back in time for tea. Well, King John put up a notice, lost, stolen, or strayed. James James Morrison's mother seems to have been mislaid. Last seen, wandering vaguely, quite of her own accord, she tried to get down to the end of town, 40 shillings reward. Well, James James Morrison, commonly known as Jim, told his other relations not to go blaming him. James James said to his mother, Mother, he said he, you must never go down to the end of town without consulting me. Well, James James Morrison's mother hasn't been heard of since. King John said he was sorry, and so did the Queen and the Prince. King John, somebody told me, said to a friend he knew, well, if people go down to the end of town, what can anyone do? Well, James James Morrison Weatherby George Dupree took great care of his mother, though he was only 3. James James said to his mother, Mother, he said he, you must never go down to the end of town if you don't go down with me. Next. What's my next?
I had a dream.
Huh?
I
Oh.
had a dream.
What's it?
I had a dream.
Okay. One of the most startling moments in TV was a few years ago when Susan Boyle appeared on Britain's Got Talent and sang a song, I Had a Dream, from Les Miserables. And I was so taken with it that I got the whole, she sang a part of it. They always sing an abbreviated part of the songs that they select to sing. And so there were a number of verses which I've added, but I think it's it's supposed to be a song, and it is a song, but it's also a poem. And hopefully I can remember and do it for you. There was a time when men were kind, when their voices were soft and their words inviting. There was a time when love was blind, when the world was a song and the song was exciting. There was a time when it all went wrong. She dreamed a dream in time gone by when her hopes were high and life worth living. She dreamed that love would never die. She dreamed that God would be forgiving. Then she was young and unafraid when dreams are made and used and wasted. There was no ransom to be paid, no song unsung, no wine untasted. But the tigers came at night with their voices soft as thunder as they tore her hopes apart and turned all her dreams to shame. He slept a summer by her side. He filled her days with endless wonder. He took her childhood in his stride, but he was gone when autumn came. And still she dreams that he will come to her, that they will live their lives together. But there are dreams that cannot be, and there were storms they could not weather. She dreamed her life would be so different from this hell she's living. so different now from what it seems. Now life has killed the dream she dreamed. And anyway, it's a song, but it's a poem, and it's sad, but it's beautiful. And you could see that Susan Boyle was pretty homely, and that this was truly her song.